Enduring water cannons evoke big blazes fought by the Seattle Fireboat Duwamish. Wildfires often command today's attention, but how's this for a different kind of wild? Early on May 20th, 1910, at the foot of Vine Street along Elliott Bay, a kettle of melted asphalt sprang a leak, mushrooming into a blazing pile of more than 100 tons of inflammable asphalt, and producing the thickest smoke that ever rolled up from a city, reported the Seattle Times. The fire destroyed Independent Asphalt Company and damaged Occidental Fish Company nearby, but could have been catastrophic for the waterfront if not for gushers from the highest-powered fireboat in existence, the Duwamish. Thousands of tons of water shot from the vessel's cannons for more than an hour, aided by two land-based engines along Railroad Avenue, now Alaskan Way, doused the flames. Eyewitnesses said the sight of streams from the fireboat playing across her bow was the prettiest firefighting spectacle ever witnessed in this city. The inferno came 10 months after the launch of the steam-driven Duwamish, named for the city's Native American tribe and only river. The fireboat fought decades of water-proximate fires, many with dramatic smoke plumes from both the conflagrations and the fireboat's aging steam engine. Dieselized in 1949 and retired in 1984, the Duwamish endures as a city and national landmark at South Lake Union. Seattle's first fireboat, and the first one on North America's west coast, was the Snoqualmie, launched in 1891. Sold in 1932, it became a freighter in Alaska, where it burned in 1974. The city's third fireboat, the Alki, launched in 1927, lingered for decades at Lake Union and recently was scrapped. Thus, the in-between Duwamish is the sole old-time survivor. West Seattle's Bob Carney, a retired electrical parts salesman who first toured the Duwamish at age 8 in 1968, could be its biggest historian and fan. He is rivaled only by Beacon Hill's Steve Walker, who traces his maritime affection to the Sand Pebbles movie, 1966, starring namesake Steve McQueen, the King of Cool, as a military steamship engineer. Walker, a state ferry retiree, helms the Duwamish, which is moored permanently at the historic ship's wharf next to the Museum of History and Industry. He and Carney lead Sunday tours, spouting gentle canons of maritime lore for visitors. Today's 4 operating Seattle fireboats are the Chief Seattle, launched in 1984, the Leschi, 2007, Fire 1, 2006, and Fire 2, 2014. During summer festivals, their pumps propel a sizable spray, but the most inspired show emerges from the deck of the Duwamish, where for a few gripping moments at its disabled water cannons, anyone can imagine being a waterborne hero. In our first then photo, the fireboat Duwamish anchors at the downtown waterfront in 1910. In our second then photo, the fireboat Duwamish, lower right, fights futilely to save the Grand Trunk Pacific Dock north of Coleman Dock on July 30th, 1914. At upper left is the Smith Tower, from which many watched the blaze. The tower had opened earlier that month on Independence Day. Coleman Dock, built in 1882 and rebuilt after 1889's Great Seattle Fire, is above the Duwamish at right. In our third then photo, the fireboat Duwamish, shown circa 1920, could pump 9,000 gallons of water a minute at 200-pound pressure. Reflecting the era of wooden craft, it was built with a ram bow, capable of sinking blazing vessels. Ships later were constructed of steel, so when the Duwamish was dieselized in 1949, its bow was refashioned. In our fourth then photo, in 1949, when the Duwamish, misspelled here, Converted to diesel-electric from steam, its pump capacity jumped to 22,800 gallons per minute, making it the world's most powerful fireboat at the time. In our fifth then photo, in front of the Seattle skyline in 1959, the Fireboat Duwamish struts its spray. The newly built white-colored Washington building stands at center right, while the Seattle Tower, 1929, is at far right. In our sixth then photo, on July 4th, 1976, the Fireboat Duwamish spouts red, white, and blue spray for the nation's bicentennial. The Duwamish later was featured in an episode of the TV series Emergency. Today, as volunteer Bob Carney and mom Devin Lawrence observe, Duwamish caretaker Steve Walker helps Owen Lawrence, 2, of Seattle, adjust a disabled water cannon aboard the fireboat on a June visit. The fireboat will display a diorama during the August 19th to 24th Seattle Design Festival. Also today, James Lawrence, 5, of San Francisco, aims a disabled Duwamish water cannon on a June visit. Also today, Steve Walker left, Duwamish caretaker for the past 10 years, and volunteer Bob Carney chat aboard the fireboat. Also today, visitor Tom Smith of Seattle examines an artist's rendering of the inner workings of the Duwamish. And finally, taken from the neighboring vessel Tordenskjold, this is a panoramic west-facing view of the 1909 fireboat Duwamish, moored permanently at Northwest Seaport's historic ship's wharf at the south end of Lake Union. The Duwamish also partners with the Museum of History and Industry, the Duwamish Tribe, and the Maritime Washington National Historic Area. For more information, visit fireboatduwamish.com.